Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fandom United Live. My name is Gio, and yeah, it's been a while. It's been a couple of months since I've last done a live stream, but I wanted to talk about this movie that came out. This little small movie you may have heard of called The Batman. And sorry, we're starting a little bit later than usual. Got to work through some technical difficulties. But I'm here with Mr. Keith Barnes from Apocalypse Movie. Well, we're both from Apocalypse Movies, but good
Yes,
to have you back, man. How you doing?
doing good, man. Doing good. Enjoying a nice week off of work. Got another week off next week. Glad to be back on here talking, me and you talking some the Batman. It's just nice to be back on Fan United, man. It's been such a long time. I don't even remember last time I was on.
Yeah, man. I took a break for a while. It was
Yeah.
there was a lot of stuff happening, and I just
Oh yeah.
couldn't fit it in. But
Hey,
for
listen.
this one,
Same here.
yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, totally, man. How many times have you seen the Batman?
Saw it again last night. Took the teenagers to go see it. So just only twice.
So you saw it, yeah, same. I saw it. I mean, you say only twice, like or the movie technically came out today. I
Today,
mean,
yeah,
there
right.
were Thursday previews,
Right.
but you and I saw it on Tuesday for the
Yes.
IMAX fans first screening.
Right.
Which we'll talk about that experience, and
Yeah.
saw it again, XD, and
Same. Yeah, same here.
yeah, Cinemark XD,
Mm-hmm.
which was still just as good. I
Yeah,
mean, it wasn't,
definitely.
like I've gotten like ever since Zack Snyder's Justice League, like I've paid attention to ratios and stuff, and
Right.
the way movies are on IMAX as composed to like traditional theatrical,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's still like, just as great. The sound was just as good,
Yeah.
um, and yeah, I'm ready to talk about this movie, man. We got
Same.
someone here joining us. Derpy Gaming, hello.
Hey,
Is that God? Who I know that character. Wow, who is
Dexter,
that?
right? Dexter's Laboratory. Is that who that
Yeah,
is?
Dexter.
I never watched that. I never watched that
You
before.
never saw Dexter? It's
No.
hilarious, man. He's just a genius, but he's just a little guy, and
Right.
um, he saw it once on
What's his name?
Tuesday,
Okay. Cool.
and yeah, once
Nice.
is great. If you happen to catch it again, the second viewing
Now,
was
those. What's up?
just as great, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And we got John Bones here.
What's happening?
Saw it last night for the first time. It was sick. Catwoman, the world. Hey, we're gonna talk about Catwoman. Okay, she was definitely a badass, and I did not see where her character arc was going, and just we'll get to that because I didn't
Yeah.
know that was such a thing until I found out from the New 52 comics. Um, we'll get
Right.
to all of that. So let's be a little bit respectful and spend a couple of minutes talking about it without spoilers.
Sure.
Because like not everybody is us, Derpy Gaming and John Booz and Keith. Okay, people are probably watching it right now for the first time.
Yeah.
Um, Instead of asking you, Keith, what are your thoughts on the Batman? Because you can literally go anywhere and start anywhere. Let me ask you this question: when you think of the Batman, what or who is the first thing or person you think about?
Uh, I'll say I was not worried about Robert Pattinson at all.
Let's
So I knew.
start with Robert Pattinson.
I will say because I knew he'd be good. He's been a good actor for a while. Actually, I told a friend about it today. My friend Jen. Told her that I went and saw it. She's like, so it was good. I was like, yeah, it's great. It's like, so Robert Pattinson was good. I was like, yes. He was like, really? Listen, he's a great actor, man. He's come a long, long way. He was a good actor even back then. I think the material I'm talking about the Twilight era. I'm talking the material he had to work with wasn't great. But he's gotten better over the years, obviously.
Well,
So
Goblet of Fire.
exactly. Cedric Diggory, he's really good in that. And, fan favorite character.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, he's always been a good actor. But he's gotten better over the years, especially with the projects he's chosen. He's done a lot of indie stuff, a lot of smaller stuff, and kind of worked his way, honed his craft. He's gotten better, and then worked his way into bigger stuff. Obviously, was in Tenet last year, or 2 years ago, or whatever it was, and then moving on to this one. So he's working his way into the bigger budget stuff. But I knew he would be great. He was spectacular.
He was definitely a different kind of Bruce Wayne.
Absolutely.
Let's start with Bruce Wayne, because I feel like that's something that, for some people, they'll say this was a really great movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a buddy of mine who saw it last night, and he was just like, Robert Pattinson was a horrible Bruce Wayne. And I was like, was he in context of the movie? I know we're used to the Christian Bales,
that's
the Ben
what it
Afflecks,
that's what
hell, even the George Clooney,
sure,
and Michael Keaton, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you feel about his Bruce Wayne? No spoilers. We'll get to the spoilers, but how'd you feel about Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne?
Well, he was different, just like you said. It was different. Sure. Not if you've read any Batman comics or watched any kind of Batman material or whatever.
Oh, speaking of comics, you still have yours?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I sure do.
Hey, Derpy, did you ever get one? Or John Booze?
Yeah, man. They're giving those out. Shout out to Esquire IMAX, giving those out. Little I think it was, what is it, #1 from Long Halloween?
Yeah.
So,
and we'll get to the Long Halloween vibes.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much to talk about.
Although not as much from Long Halloween as I was expecting. Anyway.
But at first you were like, whoa.
Oh, it seemed like it was, fully. Yeah. What were we talking about? Bruce Wayne. Yeah, but he's a different kind of Bruce Wayne. It's early in his Batman career, which we've seen before. Obviously, Christian Bale was Batman Begins, so but he's one thing I noted, especially seeing it the second time. He doesn't, and he says it in the movie. He doesn't care about Wayne Enterprises. He doesn't care about the money. He has this contentious relationship with Alfred. I think I've seen that a lot. I think that's something that's bothering a lot of people as well, because this ain't Christian Bale and Michael Caine, teasing each other and making jokes, and he's just kind of a different. There was a little. Yeah, you could tell a little bit of year one. But it's odd because like the Dark Knight trilogy covered a whole lot more year one than this did, and this there's some stuff in it. There's a lot of similar stuff in both, but we didn't get to see the origin. Thank goodness. But but we also didn't get to see the actual, like, how did he start? Like, what did he do to become Batman? Like, we don't even know any of that, any of the training or any of the whatever it is that he did, which is fine. Like I said, the Nolan trilogy is the only one that we've seen do that. So
right.
But yeah, he's that reclusive. And they say it in the movie. He's very reclusive. He hasn't gotten to the point yet where he's kind of showing his face around Gotham and trying to do different. It's something, again, without spoiling, we're going to see that. It's a change we see him gradually make. By the end of the film, he'll probably become that guy that kind of shows his face around Gotham a little bit more. But this one, he's starting out. He's just a very dark version of Bruce Wayne who seems to be on a mission to fight against the darkness of the city, and that's all he cares about. And he kind of says it at the beginning of the movie. What he said is, he says, "What I'm doing, this is my family legacy. Like, this is, he feels like he needs to right all the wrongs of the city, and maybe wrongs of his family.
The sins of his father, as
right?
He learns,
yeah, it's the stuff he doesn't even know, but yeah. So, like I said, it's a different Bruce. I get why some people might be thrown by it, and probably because it's Robert Pattinson, he's going to get a harsher You know,
people are gonna
they're gonna be harder on him for
they're
it.
gonna be harder on him on grading him,
Yeah,
because there's with Christian Bale there was no previous work that was something like
right.
a Twilight, that which
Yeah,
I tell people in my non-spoiler review that that's it. I don't want to hear any more of it. Like he's
seriously.
done a number of indie films, and now he's doing one of the biggest characters in anything blockbuster related. Um,
Yeah,
and yeah, totally. To your point, this is if you're expecting the billionaire, the playboy, any of that kind of stuff. Nah,
not even close.
I mean, just think about how much screen time of Robert Pattinson in the Batman suit. I mean, it's a lot.
It's almost yeah. I would what probably 80% maybe.
85% of
So
him
yeah,
in the Batman suit, and
yeah.
15% of him, as Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And um like you said, towards the end of the movie, he is starting to realize that he can actually do more.
Right.
That's something that he was confronted with by the mayor elect
Yep.
at the funeral scene. Was like, you could be doing so much more for this city. It's hard to get in touch with you. Alfred is reasoning with him like, dude, like I have to bring accountants from Wayne Enterprises to the house because I can't get you out.
All right.
And which I understand. He's so deep into the Batman, being the Batman, to the point where him in daylight, it just, early on, there's a scene of him wearing shades, and he's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
nah,
In his
I,
house, he's got to put sunglasses on.
yeah,
Yeah. It's so
yeah.
bright. Yeah. Exactly.
Um, if you want one, John Booz, send me a shipping address via Twitter DM, and I'd be happy to
Yes.
give you one.
Yeah,
No
man.
problem at all. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why I grab more than one. um, yeah, so we touched on him as Bruce Wayne. He will get to that point of being
Right.
the billionaire, like I said. Now, as far as him being Batman, he wasn't as brutal as I thought he would have been. Especially with that first DC fandom trailer. Where he is beating the crap out of the guy, and then the guy falls to the ground, and then he just pounds, pounds, pounds. But he's definitely not afraid, to go toe to toe. One of the early scenes is him, and there's something about Batman fighting in a nightclub that I just always enjoy. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
um, when he's trying to find the Penguin, and he's just kicking ass. Um, well, yeah, I appreciate you being here. Okay, like I
Of
believe me,
course.
I've tried to give some things away, and anytime, anytime for sure. Um, so what do you think of Pattinson as Batman? I mean, first off, that outfit, sick.
That was cool, right? I
The
I remember when they
sorry.
first like you remember when they first kind of showed that little teaser. Um, I think it was maybe
Oh,
two
where
years ago.
with the Giacchino score,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's walking slowly toward the camera, and it goes in
yeah.
focus, and then yeah.
You kind of just really saw from like the chest up. You didn't really see the whole thing, but
Oh yeah, it was a costume test.
you're right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then set photos, obviously showing leaks and stuff. I usually try to avoid that stuff, but you see the new Batman suit. I've generally liked all the Batman suits, the cinematic ones. Yeah, this one it's different. It's a he. It was kind of throwing me watching it last night. I don't know how tall he is, but he didn't seem. He's not the big. Obviously, he's not Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's a big tree, you know. Um, but even like there's this one scene where you see him when he's pushed. He's got a shirt off in one scene, and he still felt real kind of thin and wiry. kind of just normal Robert Pattinson, who's obviously in great shape, but
Right.
it was different seeing him. Like he's kind of like the same height as Gordon a little bit. Like he wasn't the tall, big, imposing. Obviously not Ben Affleck. He was like 6'4" and a big old, like I said, just a big old bust. But not even Christian Bale, because you know how big and buff Christian Bale got.
At least in Begins, he definitely trimmed down in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. And real quick, I'll bring up Derpy. I didn't forget about that. This film over The Dark Knight as a Batman film. I would agree with that as a Batman film.
Well, maybe we'll get to that later.
Okay. I mean,
I've been battling in my mind. I've been battling a lot over this, but I kind of
as a Batman film, yes. And there's a
better movie.
There's an argument. Technically,
I think start to finish. I think it's. Let's get that to we'll do that later.
That's man.
It's definitely a debate. It's definitely a debate to have, like which is great to be on that level.
Recency bias, okay? Like we're okay. Like
sure, yeah, that's fair.
Think about. No, we'll get to it, but okay.
No. Listen, the Dark Knight still is going to stand. It's going to be around for 50 years, so we won't know until. But you're right. You're right. And I try not to get ahead of myself with that. But no, as far but the Batman suit, I thought it was cool. I really did. I noticed last night. I didn't notice until last night, but he doesn't have the spiky things that he usually has.
The blades.
Like in the Dark Knight, they would shoot off and shoot people, but they're usually just kind of there to whatever. But block like a knife or a sword or whatever. But he just had these kind of Black Widow style electric things on there, which I didn't catch that till last night. Like, he didn't have those spiky things on his forearm there. But no, it's a cool suit, man. Little thing comes off, so you can cut stuff with it. Obviously, I think what they said is it's the piece of a gun. Was it the piece of the gun that shot his parents, or just?
I think it was a piece of a gun that he turned into a blade because he uses it several times to cut
stuff.
Yeah. Like in the final act, that big thing that he does. We'll get to that.
Right. But so it was just cool. It takes off, puts it back. I found that cool. That was a cool suit. The cape. I noticed too last night. Not as big as the Snyder one, like the Snyder cape, which is obviously CG, I guess, apparently, or mostly CG. But it's a big, long, flowing cape. This one didn't seem to be as big. It looked kind of a little bit smaller, but no, it's a cool Batman suit. I've like I said, I've liked pretty much all of them. I've always loved all the Batman suits. So this is another cool one.
It's a really nice suit. It looks especially good the way Matt Reeves uses the suit and the way it can blend into the darkness. The first 10 minutes of the movie, like when the bat signal is in the sky and you're getting introduced to year 2 Batman. And how he is the darkness. He uses it as a tool. It was so well done. So smart.
Yes.
So again, we're about to jump into spoilers pretty soon, but just know with this movie, expect a very different Bruce Wayne, Batman. Touch quickly on the villains real quick. What do you think? I mean, I think across the board,
all of them. Yeah, absolutely stellar. Every single one. This was, man. There's no avoiding the Dark Knight comparisons. Specifically, the movie. So
Heath Ledger's Joker. I mean, let's not even try to like. I mean, the amount of screen time Heath Ledger had in that movie, just.
But then that's his movie.
The writing from was Jonathan Nolan involved in that? Did he write
that? Or was it?
I think it was Goyer who wrote the story, and maybe Jonathan who wrote the screenplay.
Okay.
Yeah, but man, these oh man,
they're all, man. I mean, oh gosh, we've talked beforehand. You were asking us in our group who are we most excited to see, and I said Colin Farrell. I
Ooh.
didn't remember that John Turturro was playing Falcone. I don't know how, or I'm sure I'd heard that. Yes,
Man.
I don't know why. I just didn't remember that at all until you said that, and I was like, oh, so it was between those two guys, and they were, man. Oh, I love the Falcone character, but he was excellent. We don't get to see him play villain too often. He's such a great actor, but
It's perfectly cast,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And then, of course, Paul Dano, who is often a villain in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He plays a psychopath probably better than just about anyone in Hollywood.
The Zodiac inspiration,
right?
So well done. Such a great choice.
Yeah,
too.
man. And he could go from he definitely had that intimidating, menacing, he was something. He was something. I'm not gonna performance wise. I mean, he's a great actor, just like so. I don't know as the villain himself. I mean, he's not the Joker. He's not Heath Ledger, right? I mean, it's not. That's tough to. That's no one will top that. But he delivers just as well. Like he's up there. It's close. I don't know if it'll be as memorable as Heath Ledger. And I of course, that was buoyed by the fact that he had passed away a few months earlier. So, but it was still a legendary performance. And I don't know if I would quite say this is that, but it's very, very good.
I think what Heath Ledger also had working for him was the amount of people who hated the casting.
Sure, yeah.
And just how,
myself included.
Yeah, the bar was set so low. I mean, the trailers still made him a little more confident, but they were very skeptical until that opening bank robbery scene.
Right.
But man, dude, like Colin Farrell as Penguin. I mean, we know this guy brings it every role that he has, but in this one, he just, I couldn't believe it. Like I forgot I was watching Colin Farrell.
I know.
As Oz, and I love the setup for his character too, and his rise. That's not a spoiler. Matt Reeves, this is a trilogy, and the way the movie is left off, I'm looking forward to that HBO Max series so much. Villains are great. The direction Matt Reeves has with this movie, I tweeted out, it's flawless.
Yeah.
He has such an eye for action, especially the car chase sequence, which we'll get into. Man. And Michael Giacchino's score just elevates the moments of tension, the moments of like when things get emotional between characters like Bruce and Alfred, or Selena and Bruce. Whew, man.
Yeah. Well, so I'm glad you said that about the score, because to jump back to the thing that I think maybe stood out the most may have been the score. As great as all the stuff we just talked about is, I found, especially the second time watching, the score really has been. I've been thinking about it all last night, all day today. Like it's settled. It stayed with me. And actually, I haven't listened to it yet. I haven't even, pulled it up on my music app and listened to it yet. But I think it's up there. It's close. It's very, very close. Yeah, I would agree. I'd agree. It's like I said, it's hard to top, but it's definitely as far as Batman villains, like actual, like to be taken seriously, he's definitely top at the top. So, but yeah, the score is it's this might be his best score, man. And that's saying a lot for a guy like him. But I haven't heard every single one that he's done, but I can't imagine one of these. done better. Listen, you see what he did with Rogue One with just a few weeks of work, and that's I think that score is really good. I know a lot of people don't love it, but I think it's really good. So,
Agreed.
This score is it's incredible. So that really stayed with me since I saw it again.
All right, it's tough tiptoeing around things without spoiling. So I'm gonna give just a heads up. We're going into spoilers for the Batman. If you haven't seen the Batman, come back later. I appreciate it. Or if you're watching this on playback, we're gonna talk spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Let's start with Paul Dano's Riddler, though. I mean, that opening sequence, where it's just you see it through his eyes, his breathing, so uncomfortable. Just the first time you see him on screen. So he's in it's the mayor's house, right?
Yeah.
Mayor's house. The mayor's watching the news. He's on the phone. Goes to put the phone and hangs it up. And then as he leaves, you see Riddler right there, just standing there like a creep. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
And then proceeds to kill him. And it's just.
It screams and lunges at him too. He didn't like.
Yeah. And then as he's taping him up, though, his breathing as if he has asthma, like,
right.
Oh my God.
Which he did later on when he's talking to Bruce in the cell. He was kind of doing that. I wonder what that is. Obviously a character choice.
It was almost like a cry.
Sure. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, but that was a brutal scene, killing him with that which turns out we find out is a carpet tool. Let's just look at his plan. Just it was nearly flawless. Like, it worked outside of the fact. The only thing he didn't count on was Bruce or Batman kind of turning on him the way he did, which because the guy was obviously a psychopath. He really thought that Batman was going to be like, I don't know if he thought he was going to thank him or, hey, thank you for helping me bring down this corrupt system here. But other than that, and that may be just a fault of his own through his own flawed psyche. But his plan, literally everything he set out to do, he did it, and it all worked. All the way up to flooding the doggone city, which was, oh my God.
So let's just put this out there. Spoilers, okay? People die in this movie. So Riddler opens the floodgates, literally destroys the floodgates, the wall holding all the water. And you see just an aerial shot of all the water pouring into the city.
That sucks. It's like
people died.
Yeah. And then when he revealed and I know we're jumping all the way ahead, but
that's okay.
That alone was awful. But just revealing all his online following that he built up, and he was going to have just a bunch of shooters up in the garden. They call it Gotham Square Garden, which I thought was funny. That was just like, oh my God, that is going to be the worst thing I've ever seen. If they do this, in my head, I'm like, please don't have these guys shoot all these people. And thankfully, obviously, Batman came to save the day, but
it was almost too real for a moment.
Yeah,
oh man, this. Matt Reeves very much wanted to be grounded and realistic, and there are times where it's like too real.
Yeah.
It's just like, man. I can deal with the politicians and them going to nightclubs and cheating on their spouses and whatnot. We know that, but when it gets to something like that, it's just like, ooh.
Mass shootings, it's like super mass shooting, especially that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man, dude.
But hey, listen,
but
you do that in a movie like this where you got a hero that can come and stop him. So, and it was so similar to the Dark Knight scene in the building.
Yeah, with the shooters and how it. Yeah. clowns. But
yeah, with the tape.
that was
hands
clever though.
and the SWAT team. So yeah, those are both two really similar, but really good scenes.
Okay, so we're on the topic of the final battle where he's taken down all of not Joker, Riddler's followers.
Right.
Was I the only? Tell me if you felt the same way. So Batman gets blasted with a shotgun, point blank, right? He's on the ground. He sees Selina getting attacked.
Yeah.
He pulls out a serum from his belt.
Yes.
Injects it, and I immediately thought, "Oh, Bane."
It was a green glowy.
That's
serum.
the venom.
Yeah,
that Bane uses.
Maybe. So I didn't think of that. I think there's. Doesn't he have something like that in the Arkham games? I think.
I think he does.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's something I've seen on in Batman lore before.
So yeah, he takes it out. He injects himself. He goes and then bam, bam, bam. And oh my god, I was just like, oh, that's Bane right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Good call here. I didn't think about the Bane part. I just figured it's just a thing of adrenaline or something like Pulp Fiction, But yeah, I think you might be right because I did notice last night. That
could you imagine injecting yourself with that, like imagine like
super steroid,
just so much, you just press, and you get all this stuff and how it messes with you.
It's like Logan, like the stuff in Logan, like right. Remember the
the green serum that he takes and then just goes
berserker, Wolverine berserker race. Let me ask something about I was thinking about this both times watching, but two things with the Riddler. Number one, and I was watching last night to see if I missed something, but I don't know. And I'll tell you what my kid said when I asked this. But how did he know all this stuff? How did he know all this stuff was going on?
Who?
The Riddler. How did he know?
You mean like all the? You mean like all the
money, the corruption, all? Like, how did he know all of this? Because he knew everything.
Well, he probably did some research at first. Because remember, he was a part of the revival program, right? He was one of the kids who was supposed to
be a benefit.
Of that, and all of a sudden, Thomas Wayne dies, and he goes away.
That's sure. But to know everybody that was involved, to know whose money, stuff with Falcone, that he was the rat. How did he know that? How did he get that information? That's the police. Nobody knew that. No one. Gordon didn't know. And that the commissioner was involved, the mayor was involved. So my son Kevin, he was wondering if he was related to the reporter that got killed, that Falcone had killed, or if he somehow got the reporter's information somehow. Because remember, there was a reporter that was who was going to go
and spill all the information and whatnot.
Right. So there has to be a connection there. We don't see it in the movie, so I guess it doesn't matter necessarily. But it was just something that I was wondering the second time watching, like, how did he know all this stuff? And maybe there is a connection with that reporter. I don't know. What do you think?
Probably. I mean, I can't remember right now if there is an actual moment where he reveals that. I know that once the Gotham PD breaks into his place, he's clearly done his homework.
Yeah.
So maybe that's his way of explaining and saying, okay, like Edward Nashton, who's a forensics accountant, and accountants are pretty smart.
That's true. Yeah.
That he's able to piece all this stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this person was behind on the election polls. All of a sudden they win. Those conspiracy theorists, and the more you dig, the further along you go, the more you start seeing patterns and connecting the dots.
Sure.
And so that would be my response right there. The film doesn't go into this thing that these comic book movies go into, where it's all exposition. Like, I'm the bad guy. This is how I figured it out. And which I appreciate. Derby's here saying Court of Owls. That is very much something that Matt Reeves has expressed interest in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
When that was first announced, I think I said on Apocalypse or one of our videos, I thought that was what they were going to do was Court of Owls.
Mm-hmm.
But and it still can. But yeah, I thought this would definitely be that. So that would be great. Yeah, I'd love to see that. So, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, he absolutely. He had this whole apartment or whatever that was wall to wall, just papers and newspaper articles or I don't know, whatever, any information, every bit of information he could find to piece it together. And because you would just think that it was something that delicate, like someone, you ask too many questions, like people are gonna, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, he killed the Russian girl for Falcone killed that girl for just because the idiot mayor told her what was going on. So I don't know.
Yeah, something about a deal, and it wasn't even that.
It wasn't, yeah,
that specific. Yeah.
All right, yeah. So I don't know. It's just something I was just wondering, like, how did he know all that? But number two, and this is a big one. Do you think he knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne?
Who?
The Riddler.
Yeah.
Because he acted like he acted like he did.
I mean, that's how I took it when they're speaking when Riddler is behind bars, but in a glass talking to Batman. He says it a number of times.
But then he says at the last second, he goes, Bruce Wayne. He keeps saying his name, Bruce Wayne. And then, Batman's like, damn it. And then he goes, Bruce Wayne. He's the only one we didn't get. And Batman turns like, oh, like he thought he was going to out him, and then he didn't.
Oh, I took it as he knew.
No, he said it. He was pretending like acting like he knew.
What do you guys in the chat think? Does Riddler know that Batman is Bruce Wayne?
I think he does know, but I think he chose not to out him.
Because earlier in the movie, he obviously sends a bomb to Wayne Manor or which there's no Wayne Mansion. Oh, well, wait, there is a Wayne Mansion. Never mind. There's just it's a tall building,
tower.
Yeah. And he thinks he got him, with that bomb and whatnot. But see, I don't. God, now you got me thinking.
I'm telling you, it's tough, right? It's tough to he either knows and chose not to reveal, or he actually didn't know. And there's been storylines where the Riddler has actually figured it out. He's one of the people that figures it out.
Right.
So it seemed like that's where that was going.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm not,
because he's taunting him. He keeps saying Bruce Wayne, and then last second the music is building. It's all tense, and he goes, "He's the only one we didn't get," but that's okay. And then Batman's like, "Oh." Like you can see him. He's relieved because there's at one point he looks up at the camera. He's like, he's gonna say that it's me. Like, no. Like, and then I'm wondering, well, if he does know that, how does he know that? Like, how did he figure that out? I mean, who knows? I mean, like I said, the Riddler's a smart guy. He figured it out before. But by the way, shout out to the writers for not calling him Edward Nigma. I just picked up on that last night. It's like, oh yeah, they call him Edward. What was his name? Edward? Nashton. Yeah, I was like, okay, good. Call him Enigma, please don't do that. But
yeah.
So, but yeah, those are two things I noted. Just notable things about the Riddler. But his plan was, it was really good. He was a step ahead the whole time. And they did the thing where he allows himself to get caught. And it's just like, why does everyone fall for that? And all these, anytime if the villain is just, all right, you got me, whether it's movie 7, or whatever. It's the Dark Knight, obviously, with the Joker. Like, he lets himself get caught. It's not over. So you guys got to really be on it. So.
John Boo's right here. I don't think he knows. I felt it went down as Keith did.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
See, I'm gonna have to watch the third time now and just like really hone in,
Yeah.
like still appreciate the movie, but I'm gonna be like,
Sure.
okay, I need to know if that is that. And keep in
Yeah,
mind,
man.
in 45 days, it goes on streaming.
Right.
That's one thing to definitely point out. I think that'll play a factor into the box office numbers
Mm.
for the Batman. Um,
Oh wow. Okay.
but yeah, a very very dark movie, man.
Yes.
I mean, just all the aesthetic, the visuals, Gotham City. I said this in my non-spoiler review, or I think I said it in a tweet that this Gotham City gives Joker a run for its money as far as most messed up, effed up Gotham City.
Mm.
I mean, because you got the whole corruption of elected officials, politicians, law enforcement, police, whatever,
Yeah.
more focused in this movie than in any other movie. I mean, all of Riddler's villains are, these people with all this dirt, whether it's the commissioner, whether it's the DA, the mayor, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Oh, it's the full. You don't know who to trust. It's, and again, the Nolan trilogy, which brought, so a lot of the year two stuff, year one and year two, really a lot more of that in the Nolan trilogy than in this, but it kind of goes into the same thing, which is my favorite stuff, my favorite Batman stuff, by the way. It's I love our friend Jacob and I was talking to him, and I was told him, like, listen, this is just a small, not small, but it's a Batman story. Like, it's not a big, no big, no magic, no aliens or supernatural stuff. There's no big crazy world threatening thing. It's Batman fighting crime and fighting the mob in the city, which I love. That's my favorite Batman stuff. So, but yeah, the whole thing with Falcone and the corruption with the police. Obviously it goes as far as the mayor. All that straight out of year two, and Long Halloween, year one and year two, and Long Halloween. Yeah, very well done, very well done. It starts obviously with the mayor, goes to the DA, who is the great Peter Sarsgaard. Pete Sarsgaard,
Sarsgaard, man,
who I had no idea was in this.
what a role for him.
Yeah, right. And of course, he's married to Maggie Gyllenhaal, who played Rachel Dawes in The Dark Knight.
Oh,
yeah. I think they're still married. I don't know if they're still married, but they were. But yeah, what's obviously with what happened to him, which is a crazy scene we'll get to, but clearing the way for a new DA, who we know that's going to be.
well, let's talk about that real quick. So he's
Yeah.
at the club within the club.
Mm-hmm. 44 Below, which do you think that's a nod to Mr. Freeze? Because I think Matt Reeves did say he wants to maybe incorporate Mr. Freeze into this trilogy.
Yes, he did.
So I wonder.
I didn't think about that.
The club is called Iceberg.
Iceberg, yeah.
Iceberg Lounge, and then the club inside is called 44 Below. I don't know. Might be
Could, man,
Freeze.
with Matt Reeves.
Yeah,
it could be.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just with. Let's talk about. I'm sorry, the DA. Yeah.
DA. Yeah. What, he's in the club.
He's obviously corrupt.
Yeah.
He's out of his mind. He gets caught by Riddler. Riddler knocks him out, and then Matt Reeves, the camera work, the way it blurs, but you still see what's happening.
Yeah.
I guess he was not lying when he said, "I'm going to toe the line between PG-13 and R-rated."
Yeah.
Just how the camera's out of focus, which makes it even more effective as far as, terrifying what we're watching. We're kind of using our mind to like fill in, but
you just see the blinking lights and you know it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, he starts with tape, and then he puts the device over his mouth, and then it lights up, and
Yeah.
you hear a lock, and he goes, "Mm."
Right.
Oh,
But then it
man.
cuts away to like that far kind of
Mhm.
far away shot. You still
But you
see
still
the
see it. Yeah.
light. Yeah, it's like, oh
It's
no.
terrifying, man.
Yeah.
And then he shows up at the funeral. He
The funeral for the
literally
mayor.
literally crashes the party, and
Yeah.
it was just I have a message for the Batman. By the way, I want to know what phone that is because
It
the
rang for
battery.
an hour.
Yeah, no, it rang for hours, and the battery didn't die.
Because Bruce was there as Bruce Wayne,
Yeah,
obviously. And he had to go all the way home, get his Batman stuff, and come all the way back. Which usually when that happens, it's always I always find that funny in comics. Whenever that
yeah,
Bruce Wayne would be at a party, something would happen, he would leave, and people would actually be like, "Hey, where did Bruce go?" And all of a sudden, Batman shows up, does whatever, fights whoever, then leaves. Bruce Wayne would come back, and people would be like, "Oh, hey, Bruce, you missed it. The Batman came, and this happened." Nobody would ever figure it out. Like,
right.
I would always find that funny. But obviously, everybody scattered and left and evacuated because of this was a perfect opportunity for him to escape the situation. But that was a tense scene, man.
This might come off the wrong way, but that was probably my favorite kill.
I think I agree.
The buildup of tension, like I'm gonna give you a chance.
Yeah. What,
Here
2 minutes?
3 riddles in
Yeah.
2 minutes. And
oh gosh.
First one was an actual riddle.
Right.
Justice, which played into what the DA does, right? He's supposed to, deliver justice. 2, how much? Come on, how much did they bribe you? $10,000, really?
A month. Well, he said a month.
He said a month.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, I caught that watching last night. He said 10,000 a month. That was his.
It's fucking Giochino score, man. It's just
you could because
that would be
the music.
That would be my one complaint. Sometimes the score, it makes the dialogue a little bit too, tough at times.
I noticed that too. Yeah.
And then 3, just come on, who is it? Who's the rat? And he's like, I can't.
He wouldn't say. And I'm just like,
see, Riddler knew he wouldn't give it up. That's why he was like, okay, you're gonna die.
Do you think?
What?
Do you think he knew I don't know. You think he wasn't expecting him to?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I mean, just based on everything that he's learned about the DA and now
and who he's working for,
maybe you're right. For too.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
And we later find out Falcone is like so dangerous. Like he could.
The DA would rather, like Batman
Thomas
said,
Wayne came
rather
to
die
him.
than give him up.
Yeah, think about that. Thomas Wayne came to him and told him put the fear of God into this guy because he is going to expose us.
Right.
Let's go to Carmine Falcone and his role in here. First off, I hope that this HBO Max. Oh, go ahead.
Well, sorry. It's your show. I don't want to tell you, but just to pause, but really quick, because that led to the bomb going off, led to Batman actually being captured by police, which I don't. It's happened before, and Gordon would help him get out just like that. But I didn't recall seeing that ever in live action. I don't think, but like they actually had him, and I loved how when he's laying on that table, and they're trying to look into his eyes, and he's rolling his eyes up into his eye, rolling his eyes up so that they can't see his contact lenses with the,
one of the officers. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up. First off, don't apologize. I brought you on here because you and the people in the chat can help steer the conversation.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was about to move away from that because we were wondering during the trailers, we saw plenty of shots of Batman going toe-to-toe with the police.
With police, like surrounded by
the station.
Yeah. Right.
And whatnot. And
like how is he getting out of that? Like,
and you're right. The fact, I mean, this goes into his relationship with the police department and how there's that level of distrust.
Right.
Obviously, they know who he is because this is year 2, and that's
Mhm.
something that I want the Gotham PD show to explore more of, starring
Sure.
Jeffrey Wright
Yeah.
um, as
Well, his
or sorry, Gordon. I keep saying Commissioner
Jeffrey
Gordon.
Christian Gordon.
It's Jim Gordon. We
And,
got
and
multiple. We got
they didn't.
multiple Jim Gordons here.
Right. Exactly. So, oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Yeah. I was thinking about that too. Like, man, we still got J.K. Simmons coming up, and
yeah.
so, man. Anyway, but well, Bruce's journal that he kept was called Gotham Project
Year
Year
2.
Two. Yeah, I noticed that last night too. I didn't catch that the first time, but yeah, you're right. And the movie, and it starts off right away. We see him; he's working with the cops, which is not something you see very often, cinematically. Anyway, year one is a big part of that. He's working with Gordon and Harvey Dent. To just what you see in the movie, where he's actually bringing them to crime scenes and letting them look around, and so I thought that was really cool to see. That was really cool.
But yeah, I love that whole scene of him waking up in the police department,
Right.
and like the chief is kind of baiting him, and Batman turns the table and it's like, what if his death is on your hands?
Right.
And just the amount of corrupt people in this city. And then one police officer reaches for him,
Tries to
unmask him, and he's just like, oh, I just got you for assault and whatnot. So they're clearly trying to bait him,
absolutely,
because they don't trust him. They don't. And
understandable.
It leads to one of the more funnier moments in the movie.
Yes,
where they're secretly talking, Gordon and Batman, and
he kind of hits him real quick and
just like, punch me in the face.
Yeah, they're both in each other's face, like
yeah,
like they're squaring off.
He's like, here, take the key, go down the hall that leads to the roof. And then he goes bam, and then like it's a great shot of Batman using the grapple gun, and he's going up, and you see police officers on every level shooting at him. First off, they got to be careful, okay? Like, I don't know,
because people were coming out to look.
Yeah,
they're shooting,
I don't know. That would be pretty irresponsible. Then again, it is the Batman, so history in these movies have shown us that when the police are after the Batman, they're willing to. I mean, in The Dark Knight Rises, the guy who is calling the shots while Jim Gordon is injured is like, no, pull every cop. We're gonna go and get this guy. Forget it. They let Bane go away.
Yeah, right. I know.
But yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. That was a great scene.
Yeah, that whole sequence. Or right up to, I mean, when he runs up to the roof, right, and it's like, oh, stops at the edge of the roof. It's like, whoa. Which, in my head, I'm like, oh, you know what? He's still kind of new at this, So, he's not used to jumping off rooftops all the time like Christian Bale was, even though he was new too. But Bale had the cape that could turn into a glider, whereas he has the base jump kind of suit. What do you call that? Those suits?
No, they're not free fall gliding.
Yeah, I forgot what they call those suits, man. But people that like base jump off of cliffs and go flying.
Yeah, base jump, right? Base.
Yeah. But the suit's actually called, I can't remember what the suit's actually called, but whatever. But yeah, base jumping, which I remember catching that in the trailer, and then kind of I forgot about it until he did it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's cool. So, and then he falls, he parachutes and hits a bus or something, or
he
hits
a bridge, or he hits the bridge, falls on the bus, falls on the sidewalk,
and he's just like, oh my god, you could tell he's just all that hurts. That all hurts. So that was good. That's good. It's good to see. I like to see that out of some of your heroes. Sometimes he's not. You remember, he is a guy. Like he's not a super soldier or anything like that. So that kind of thing would hurt really bad, especially when you're in, like we said, year 2. And as tough as Bruce Wayne is, he gets hurt a lot in this movie. And you can see the few times when he's Bruce Wayne, he's got all the nicks and cuts and bruises and all throughout. And the story, it takes place over the course of like a week, I think. Um,
Yeah,
it seems like
I caught on to that the second time.
yeah.
Halloween is when it begins,
Hmm.
and then November 6th.
The election day, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's when it ends. And man, all that in a week, Jesus
yeah, I know,
Christ.
right? I know. Whereas,
Um,
so anyway, yeah. So, but yeah, you what's that? You were going to I see. I was going to note it and I lost it because I interrupted you.
oh, Carmine Falcone.
Falcone. Yes, sorry. Yes.
I mean, we talked about how great that casting is in Turturro's performance.
Yeah.
Maybe the best I've seen him yet,
Yeah.
honestly. Like his performance wasn't anything like where he was like he had one moment where he yelled, and that's when he was interrupted when he was talking to Selena.
Yeah.
Selena came to him. Selena was planning on shooting him, and that conversation was interrupted. But I mean, such a commanding presence. You truly believed he was the most dangerous man in the city up to that point. Nobody could touch him. There was nobody he couldn't touch.
Mm-hmm.
And that arc, I did not see it coming where Selena Kyle is his daughter.
Yeah.
Maria Kyle, I
That's
think, is the right.
her
Yeah.
mom. Yeah. Yeah.
And I asked Jake in the chat, I was like, Jake, is that I don't remember that ever being anything in besides the new 52. And he's like, yeah, it was the new 52. I was like,
It's
wow.
well, Long Halloween came out before New 52. So, and I didn't. I was in the chat and I didn't respond in the chat. I was like, I remember Long Halloween. I think because I was in high school. I think when that came out, which was well before New 52, because I remember that. So, I think it's kind of. Well, you watched the. I know is that you watched the animated Long Halloween movie, right? Is that it? That's in that? Is that in that?
No,
No, it's not. Okay,
no.
because I think they just hint at it,
At least I don't remember it. Yeah.
or at
But
least maybe in year.
right.
I don't know if it's either year. I don't remember. It's either year one or I'm sorry, not year one, year two, or Long Halloween. But they just kind of hint at it. I don't think they actually directly say. I think she suspects it, maybe, or maybe they do say it. I don't know, but it's from Long Halloween. But Long Halloween was before, unless there's a new 52 version of Long Halloween. I don't know where they directly say it. Maybe that's what he was talking about. I don't know. But in the original one, it's kind of just like alluded to.
But watching it the second time, it made their first interaction so much more, so much more sense, at least from Selena Kyle's point of view, because when Falcone finds out, he's just like, huh?
But then it seemed like he knew. Like my daughter asked, like, does he know that she's his daughter? And I'm like, well, I didn't want to say yet. I told her, well, just keep watching, you'll see. When he first talks to her, she's like, hey, he's like, hey, haven't seen you in a long time.
Long time no see. Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of like
it alludes to that. Yeah.
And the story that she tells makes it sound like he knew and he just ignored her. Particularly after her mom died.
Right.
So I don't know, but it's kind of tough to. I mean, obviously it doesn't matter, no big deal. But I
thought it was great.
It was fascinating. Yeah, it's so good.
It added so much to her character.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
She was almost like I don't want to say a co-lead, but she was getting to that point.
Sure. She's kind of the yeah. You're right. And I would love to see. Like we clearly haven't seen the last of her, obviously, but I wonder, and Zoe Kravitz is a big she's doing a lot of stuff. I mean, she was on Big Little Lies, and she was in. She's in all kinds of stuff. So I don't know if she would do a series or maybe she'll just come back for the sequel.
I would love to see a Catwoman.
But I was thinking about this.
Absolutely. I don't think she's too big to not do that.
Yeah. Because she's been on HBO before. She's part of the HBO family.
Yeah.
It says she's on Big Little Lies. And
you got Zendaya doing Euphoria. You got Kate Winslet doing Mayor of Easttown.
Right, yeah.
Even Clive Owen did the Nick. Like there's if the content is good enough, or the script, or the idea, the pitch. Yeah. Colin Farrell's doing Penguin.
That's true. True. She could show up on that. Who knows?
I want to see more Falcone in the Gotham PD series. I feel like that would make sense for his character to.
Is it a prequel series?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's supposed to be during Batman Year
Ooh.
One
Oh wow.
with
Okay.
Jim Gordon in the lead role, and
Wow.
who knows? Maybe we'll see Batman.
Well, so they're doing that, and that's what I was going to say. So they're doing that and Penguin.
Yeah, one's gonna be a prequel, one's gonna be a kind of
Just
a
kind of
follow up.
picks
Yeah,
up after.
follow up
Okay.
spinoff.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Well, Batman could be in both of those, to be honest. I don't see why not. I mean, not like you can't use them too much because then it would be a Batman show. But
How'd you feel about that Penguin shootout followed by chase sequence with Batman?
awesome.
Dude, oh my god.
First of all, she's showing up to get that money, which I'm like, okay, good job.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bruce Wayne gets the wrong idea about her, thinks it's just a score,
Right.
Doesn't know the real story behind it. And yeah, bullets start flying. They hit the deck. It's pouring rain. In my head, it didn't piece together that, I think this is that scene from the trailer. So, okay, this is one thing I will say. Jacob and I, our friend Jacob Bartley, Apocalypse Movies, we talked about this. I wish they hadn't showed that in the trailer. Like, I get that they have to kind of show, like, that's kind of one of the big moments of the movie, the big, like, crowd kind of cheering type or ooh moments. But boy, that would have been a cool thing to see, like, to not have seen in the trailer.
Which
the explosion, I got you, and then the car coming out of the fireball and running him down. The upside down shot of him walking towards it, which was awesome. It was still spectacular, even knowing that it was coming. But I do wish that I hadn't seen it in the trailer the times that I watched it. I'm kind of leaning towards being one of those guys that doesn't watch trailers anymore, just because I just like to see that stuff fresh in the movie.
But then you can't help it with the conversation online and whatnot.
Yeah. But it was still cool.
I mean, it's unfortunate that this whole movie, going back to its production, was caught during the pandemic. Where they had to stop filming and whatnot, and then they had to pause marketing and ramp it back up.
Pattinson himself got sick, right? He got
he got COVID. Yeah,
I think he got hurt too, also, or something like that. Yeah, so
yeah,
but you're right. You're absolutely right.
But man, both times when you hear that Batmobile engine rev, vroom, vroom, I'm like, oh shit! Oh my god!
So the car.
That's
the way. What do you think? So where are we putting that?
Oh, I love the car.
Yeah,
I love it. It's a muscle car with
absolutely
big ass engine,
big old engine in the back.
Yeah, with a booster, bulletproof. Man, like
fully reinforced front. He blasted through one of those big cement cinder blocks.
Yeah,
rolled, like, just blasted right through that thing, like it was nothing. That car was awesome. That
dude,
I again, same thing. Like the suits. I love all the Batmobiles. They call them Batmobiles, but I love all the cars. I love all the Batmobiles in the movies. I love the Tumbler. What I've been saying. I think the Batman '89 one is probably my favorite. Then I have the Tumbler. I like the Snyder one a lot.
The Snyder one was a blend of the Tumbler and the classic one together.
Yeah.
I felt like it was two. Yeah.
This one, this is the most like realistic, because obviously, like you said, it's a big old muscle car.
Jake probably was losing his shit when he heard that engine and it speeds up. You're just like, holy shit! The sound design, the sound effects, man. Oh.
Yeah. Loved it. So, yeah, good idea. Whoever, like I said, oh no, my battery's getting low. I gotta go grab a charger in a minute. But
well, let's wrap it up real quick. Final thoughts on the Batman, because we can go on and on. We'll continue this conversation on Tuesday's Apocalypse Now.
Right. Well, final thoughts. Shout out to not a lot of Alfred, but shout out to obviously to to oh my gosh, what's wrong with
Andy
me?
Serkis.
Andy Serkis, yeah, geez, sorry. Shout out to Andy Serkis, who was really good. You know, not a
Great
whole lot in
moment.
there, but had a really great moment with him. I think they did have a Hush reference. If what you know what I'm talking about. You put Hush on the screen, which I wonder if that's something they might do.
That's something that Matt Reeves wants to look into, along
Okay.
with Mr. Freeze.
Right. Okay. And then you know, near the end of the movie. And by the way, the previous commissioner was doing a Joe Pesci impersonation. Clearly, they did not sound like Joe Pesci. Like the whole time, like this guy sound.
Yeah.
But and at the end,
the way
when
he died, too.
Oh no! Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
That was brutal. The rats. Yeah. They said ledger. They talked about this is his ledger. We found his ledger. I thought that was a nice nod to obviously to the great Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
I felt like that was probably on purpose, and obviously shout out to him. But this movie, the Batman.
What?
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I do. I think it's the best Batman movie we've gotten. I know recency bias. That's fair. I can't think of anything wrong with this movie, start to finish.
I've seen some people complain about the length of the movie.
Yeah,
like it could have been cut down, but
maybe it starts off. It is a slow burn.
Slower moments are still intense.
But, yeah,
A, because of the score. B, because of the characters in there, and
yeah,
this whole thing is kind of like almost like a cat and mouse kind of thing,
right.
You know, where like they're trying to find the Riddler and they're given all these clues or riddles and ciphers and whatnot. But continue.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, and it's all getting somewhere. Like there wasn't any time where I'm like, oh, like it is long, but it's not like I'm not looking at the clock at all. I mean,
sure,
I'm just you're engaged in the story the whole time. And it's so well done. It was one of the best directed movies. One of the best movies, honestly, I've seen in a few years. I mean, my son was blown away. He called it instant Hall of Fame level for him. He says it's better than he loves Infinity War. He says it's better than Infinity War for him. Like he said.
Well, Infinity War lies heavily on
the previous
a lot of the MCU.
Stuff. Yeah, which 100%. I totally agree. This one, you know, it's Batman, so you got just the Batman stuff to go on, and they really used it all, just in my opinion, to perfection. I love this movie to death, like start to finish. It's great. I can't imagine anything topping it this year.
You gonna watch it a third time?
I'm gonna hold off. And wait till it comes out on streaming, or Blu-ray. I'm gonna get the Blu-ray.
I want the 4K Steelbook.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you seen it yet?
No.
It's badass.
I know it is. Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna hold off for that. So I don't want to watch it too much before I get to just watch it at home and whenever I want. So, but love it. It's spectacular. I can't think of anything that will beat it this year. Maybe, but this might stay. Is that number one? It's probably going to stay there.
Yeah, I love this movie. I loved it just as much, if not more, the second time.
Yeah.
What I love even more is that it's the first of a trilogy.
Right.
And you can clearly see the seeds that are planted. Matt Reeves, proves that the whole myth of having multiple villains in a movie is not a bad thing. As long as you do it right. Story, and having nearly a 3-hour runtime too for that certainly helps. It's our best version of the Riddler, which I mean, isn't saying much because there's two? Yeah. There was the Batman, the movie, the 66, and Jim Carrey's. Which, by the way, I want to see the Schumacher cut.
Ace Ventura, yeah.
And there's so much to love that's not about the characters, not about the dialogue. Talking about the whole look of Gotham City, the score, Nirvana, Something in the Way. Oh my!
Right.
How many times have I listened to that? Yeah. Check it out. It's a great experience. Even if you just watch it once, watch it in the highest format possible. IMAX, if not IMAX, Dolby, if not Dolby, XD, however you can. And it's got me excited about the future of this franchise.
Mhm.
And once again proves that not everything needs to be connected as far as
Yeah, absolutely.
comic book movies are concerned.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the possibilities are endless with DC. Joker,
Mhm.
the Batman. Who knows what's next? But I'm excited about it. And I hope you
Absolutely.
guys are too. That's going to do it for our discussion of the Batman, our first Fandom United live in weeks, months.
Mhm.
Keith, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
They can find you at Keith Barnes 79 on Twitter, correct?
Yes, at Keith Barnes 79. Whoop, right here. There. On Twitter, yes.
Mhm.
And you can see us, all of us, with the guys on Tuesdays on
Tuesday.
Apocalypse Now. Live
It's
Tuesdays.
going to be a great discussion, a fun discussion.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to thank everyone who stopped by. Derby Gaming, John Booz,
Mhm.
Gabriel Miramontes. Appreciate y'all so much. Those of you watching
Absolutely.
on playback, I love you guys so much. Thank you for your time and for your subscriptions. And until the next live stream, y'all take care.